My name is Putri Laksmi Mira Ananta Socha, and now I will present about teaching and learning strategies for teaching English for young learners. Introduction. Teaching English should be started since young age because young learners are very effective at their age. They will be very easy to understand language lessons because at this stage they are very interested in a new thing. They will also easily absorb naturally about other cultures through language. Besides that, most children are eager to gain new experiences, including learning a new language. They like to be active and have a lot of energy, which make preschool perfect time to benefit from physical activities to teach a language. There are many reflections that should be taken on how to teach and what to teach. Teaching for students of primary school is not the same as teaching adults. It makes teachers should make creative ways in teaching to give a high quality of teaching learning process. To provide a quality teaching, a program should be supported by such other factors as institution, teachers, teaching process, and learners. In addition, among those factors, it is teachers who hold significant role in teaching. Teachers therefore can be said as the most important factor in determining the success of teaching learning process. A high-quality teacher would therefore ensure the students' quality in addition in teaching English to young learners, or TEYL. A teacher should have both professional and pedagogical competence in the EYL. Professional competence includes English proficiency, licensure, TEYL trainings, etc., and pedagogical one is about ability to teach young learners. Characteristics of children. Characteristics of children regarding this, some experts in second or foreign language teaching have illustrated the characteristics of children and children's cognitive development as follows. Assert that children in preschool or primary setting in generally learn by way of physical activities or learning by doing. This means that they learn through hands-on experiences and through manipulation of objects in the environment. Harmer states that children's understanding comes not from the explanation, but from what they see and hear, and crucially have a chance to touch and interact with. Regarding this, therefore, an EYL teacher has to pay attention to, first of all, he or she has to avoid grammar explanation and rules stated in the abstract terms, and he or she has to repeat difficult concepts and pattern more often than that of teaching adults. Moreover, language needs to be context embedded. Language in abstract, isolated, unconnected sentences will be much less readily tolerated by children's mind. Another characteristic is that children need to have all 5 senses stimulated. The activities should strive to go well beyond the visual and auditory modes. An EYL teacher has to project hands-on activities to go along toward helping children internalize the language. According to Children's Intellectual Development, Jean Piaget, a Swiss psychologist, states that there are 4 stages of intellectual development. All children go through identifiable stages of cognitive development. Number 1 is sensory-motor period, from birth to approximately 2 years, in which children tend to explore the world physically and grasp things. Number 2, pre-operational thought, approximately 2 to 7 years old. This stage marks the beginning of language and vocabulary and also the first learning of good and bad. Number 3, the period of concrete operations, approximately 7 to 11 years, when children need reference to familiar actions, objects, and observable properties. And number 4, formal operations, approximately 11 to 15 years, when children can reason with concepts, relationships, abstract properties, actions, and theories. Teaching English for young learners. One main reason for teaching English to young learners is the convenience of their age for language acquisition. The belief that younger is better, our children learn much more quickly and efficiently, is generally appreciated by many, especially by the supporters of critical period hypothesis. Another reason for the popularity of teaching English to young learners is because it is a lingua franca today. It means a common language used for communication between two people whose language are different. Thus, parents want their children to learn English as early as possible so that they will be able to benefit from English as an important part of their academic in the future. Seeing children with good ability in English give many benefits. Teaching young learners is by no means the same as teaching adults. In teaching young language learners, Pinter points out a number of reasons why children can benefit from learning a foreign language. It can develop children's basic communication abilities in the language. Communication abilities need to stimulate as early as possible. Teaching English also encourages enjoyment and motivation for language learning, especially when it is in a fun way. In addition, children can also promote learning about other cultures and develop children's cognitive skills, as well as developing children's metalinguistics awareness. Learn language means learn about the culture. Children are born with a natural appetite and interest for learning, and their desire to learn should be fueled when they begin school. Teachers have the most important roles in creating and encouraging emotional atmosphere in the classroom. Different activities will support a statement. Teachers have to be creative in order to make a fun and interesting atmospheres in their class. Cooperative rather than the competitive atmospheres, especially including a winner and some physical reward, works better with young learners. The students should feel that they are winning and having fun altogether. Yet, they should not be understood as enjoying with little learning. The motto should be learning by enjoying. Children especially have fun with movement and physical participation, and the more fun the students have, the better they will remember the language learned. As Scott and Eidberg emphasize that the children understanding comes through hands and eyes and ears, and the physical world is dominant at all times. Objectives of early foreign language teaching. Number 1. Different scenarios. In this article that we are read, the researchers look at young children from 3 to 10 years of age and in two fundamentally different language learning or teaching scenarios, kindergarten and primary school. In Germany, for instance, the term kindergarten refers to an informal setting in which the children do not receive any formal teaching and, for that matter, no formal second language teaching. This is true of many other forms of European preschool education. In bilingual preschools, which introduce English as a foreign language before formal second language training in primary or secondary education, there is usually no curriculum for the second language. Rather, English is used as a medium of communication by first language English educators and accompanies the everyday activities of the preschooler, such as having meals, taking walks, making objects, etc. It is also applicable to kindergarten and preschool scenarios in other countries which involve formal teaching according to a specific curriculum.
So, my name is Putu Yoni Serlina. And now I want to explain about the role of age. So, the role of age. The title of this article presupposes that young learners should be taught differently from older learners, as the learning processes involved may be different. Learners aged 3 to 10 have as yet not acquired some of the strategies the older learners are able to develop. Adult learners have written language as additional input and benefit from a greater metalinguistic awareness, and may therefore be better monitor users than young learners from creation 1982. The view that young learners learn better or faster than their older peers in general is not tenable. It is no longer possible to accept the view that younger second language learners are in all respects and at every stage of learning superior to older learners. From Singleton and Ryan 2004 in page 226. However, numerous studies have found that in the long run, child learners are more likely to reach higher levels of attainment in both pronunciation and grammar than older learners, at least 2008 and Long 2007. Another reason which justifies an early start for second language learning lies in the children's huge learning potential from Cameroon 2001, and in the fact that our own research shows that both bilingual kindergarten and primary school programs can be immensely successful without placing a burden on the children. Kristen et al. 2010. And then the last one is input, interaction, output. It has been shown, especially in immersion contexts, that rich and meaningful input, GAS 2003, may result in above average listening comprehension. However, input alone doesn't sufficiently foster the learner's productive skills. Cameron 2001 in page 2041. It has repeatedly been pointed out that children's comprehension precedes their production of the language. From Elebenders et al. 2006. However, research suggests that all three components, input, interaction, and output, are necessary for successful second language learning. Long 1996 and 2007 shows that interaction in the shape of negotiations of meaning can be facilitative for the learning process, as learners may receive both positive and negative evidence to structural elements of the second language. Furthermore, interaction, especially in the guise of negotiations, can foster vocabulary learning and help learners develop communicative strategies. GAS 2003. Swain's research 1995 suggests that input doesn't simply turn into intake through interaction. Rather, learners have to be given the opportunity to produce the second language. On the one hand, it may be intuitively clear that practicing linguistic structures is a necessary prerequisite in order to enhance one's second language skills. On the other hand, Swain's output hypothesis also includes three further essential functions. The first one is the noticing or triggering function, which says that second language production caters to consciousness raising and creates an awareness in the learners for gaps in their interlanguage system. The second one is the hypothesis testing function, according to which the learners have the opportunity to experiment with language structures. And the last one is the metalinguistics functions, which may be essential for all those learners, as it enables them to reflect on linguistic structures and discuss or analyze them explicitly. Swain 1995 in page 100 2008. So we talk about strategy now. Strategy used in teaching English for young learners. It's a many strategy, but it's a common use is listen and repeat. These strategies focus on teaching vocabulary. Listen and repeat was a strategy used by teachers to help the students become more easily to understand or memorize vocabularies by imitating the teacher directly. The second one is listen and do. The teacher gives a few sentences in the form of instructions or orders to the children. Then the teacher asks the children to listen carefully to the command line and their response to carry out the dictates of the teacher in the praise. And the third one is a question and answer. Teacher asks questions and the student answer it. The teacher wrote some sentence in the whiteboard and the teacher asked the student to complete the sentence by giving the correct answer. And the next one in pair. The teacher asked the student to make group in pair. Afterwards, he gave several tasks related to pair actively. This strategy was usually used in doing exercise given by the teacher. And the next one is cooperative learning. In this stage, the students were divided into a group. Between members of groups could learn with others to do exercise from teacher. Teacher explained about material and then divided the students into some groups through a game. In this game, teacher wrote some sentences, which consist of blank space. Every group had to fill the blank space by raising their hands. Which one was fastest, they would come in front of the class and write the answer. And the last one is games. I think games is a commonly used in the class. Teacher gave a game in opening the lessons. The games were related with the topic that teacher was given to the students. Here, teacher used alphabet race. In these games, he had two sets of alphabet cards that consist of an alphabet card A to Z, and he put alphabet cards in front of the class. Next, the teacher mentioned the English word black. The student must arrange the alphabet cards into a word black in front of the class. Listen and repeat, listen and do, question and answer are commonly used in traveling students about learning material. By using a chain drill, a student have the same opportunity to ask and answer questions with each other. It is started by the teacher who prepares questions to be asked to the student nearest with the teacher. Then the teacher begins the chain by asking questions to the student nearest with the teacher. The student responds. Then his turn to ask student next to him, and the chain continues until all of the students get a chance to ask and answer the question. Larson Freeman, 2000. The finding is also identified in study conducted by Yusuf et al. 2017, who found that listen and repeat English teacher to teach English for young learners commonly uses listen and do. They found that these techniques are really good for students to try to learn English. These techniques are very suitable for foreign language, especially for young learners, because it emphasizes on repeating through oral practices. Zor, Gyant, and Kanan, 2017. Sennel, 2006, also suggests using these techniques in teaching pronunciation because it can increase accuracy in pronunciation. The other strategies used were guided writing strategies. This was a focus on students' writing skill. In guide writing, the teacher guides the student in composing a text while they are working in a small group. Here, the students follow the example that the teacher presents. It guides them through the writing process. Ananta et al. 2008 also found that in teaching English, especially writing skill, teachers use guided writing by modeling, providing the media, and preparing or supply the written material which can be used to guide the student. The teacher may give series of exercises that focus on vocabulary, building and sentence structure relate to the text. Therefore, the student learned various vocabulary and sentence pattern before they are able to write. Juria 2005, 2015. Therefore, the students will get better in their writings. Nixie 2016 explained that guided writing allows a teacher to work closely with a small group of students based on a common need. During a guided writing lesson, a teacher might gather a small group and model writings, or maybe they will complete a shared writing experience together. She also claims that guided writing is useful for a range of teaching purposes. It allows students to consider audience, purpose, topic, selection of text type when planning their writings. It allows writers to focus on conventions such as spelling, punctuation, standard usage, and handwriting. It also may be used to encourage students to revise and edit their writing. So that's all about me. That's all about my explanation. So I hope you got it, and thank you.